Good afternoon, everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is John Garmendi. I'm a senior manager with Sony's B2B group. I want to thank you all for dropping by today to see all that Sony has to offer. I'm standing in front of this gorgeous display that we call Crystal LED. And as you can see, it makes a stunning image. I would even say that an image like this draws you in or even captivates you. And frankly, that's the idea. This system is designed to be impactful. And when we talk about display technology, the applications are endless. I bought a cup of coffee this morning, and I used display technology to find out the sizes that were offered and how much each one cost. I used the display technology on my phone this morning to check the hockey scores. The interesting about this, our wall, that menu board, and this phone are all types of display technologies, and in some ways are similar in how they work. However, how they are used and how they perform are very different. The point here is that there are many types of display technologies with wide capabilities and use cases. Choosing a large format display system like the one behind me here is a huge decision. It's a large capital investment and one that'll have a presence for a long time to come. So it needs to be right the first time. If I simply look at specifications, a certain resolution, brightness, I think I can find numerous displays that seem to be equal in their capabilities. But when you get down to it, they will often look very different and may or may not deliver the performance that you require. So how can we determine which one is correct? And this is probably the biggest challenge that faces both the decision maker and the manufacturer. As a decision maker, how can you take a look at a bunch of numbers on a spec sheet and make an informed decision? As a manufacturer, how can Sony quantify visual performance on a spec sheet or a piece of paper? I mean, look at this display. I can tell you it's direct view, it's 1.26 millimeter pitch, it's rated at 800 nits, and it's 4K. But I still don't think that really describes what you are seeing. We could also say it looks breathtaking, fantastic, and awesome. But these are not tangible descriptors, and therein lies the challenge. I really believe that when you're talking to someone about the decision regarding a large format display, the first question really needs to be, what do you want to do with this display? Are you trying to entertain? Are you trying to captivate or excite? Or is your goal to educate or train the viewers? Is this for a collaborative design center? Are you making critical decisions based upon the information on the display? Of course, picture quality and performance are important to all of these applications. But there are certain attributes that are more important in some applications than in others. Once we answer the questions about how we're going to use the system and the type of content that we wish to display, only then can we really start to take a look at the specifications. So let's say I want to captivate an audience. I want the person who walks into our corporate lobby to be drawn to this display and the content that we're showing on it. This means I need a display that is bright and vibrant. I need a display that is capable of high brightness, like the CLED wall behind me here. But to captivate, I need more than just a lot of light. I need depth. I need to create visual texture, if you will. And this is contrast and probably more accurately dynamic range. This means I need a display that can create a lot of light when I want it to and provide a wide range of blacks when I need to. A display with wide or high dynamic range can reproduce an image that is more in line with the response of the human eye. When looking at this display, people will say, it pops, and this is what high dynamic range provides. With crystal LED's fine LED technology, over 90% of this display is black. The LEDs only make up the remaining 10% of the surface area. And this is how we're able to provide you with the deep, rich blacks that you see here. It goes without saying, a display can only get as black as its surface when it's turned off. And since so much of our display is totally black, this provides tremendous dynamic range. Besides image pop, if I'm trying to engage or captivate a viewer, I want the viewer to see, but also feel the image. To do this, I actually don't want the viewer looking at the display. I want them experiencing the image. Our crystal LED technology, with its embedded ultrafine LEDs and advanced mechanical design, provides a virtually seamless display. If the viewer can see the seams or is distracted by the mechanics, then they'll be focusing on the display and not experiencing the image and the content. Applications like virtual production, they also have a unique set of requirements. To create a realistic backdrop, you need to faithfully reproduce the image that the artist originally intended. This means not only brightness and resolution, but image processing that is accurate and consistent. This means having the embedded processing technology in the display that allows it and the camera to work together so that we create an image that is true to the director's vision. So what if the application is a creative or a design facility, a collaborative installation where creative or critical design decisions are being made? This means the image must be accurate in all aspects. The image must be true to the original. The color has got to be precise without any extraneous noise. You know, it's in Sony's DNA to accurately and faithfully reproduce an image every single time. And Sony continues to develop industry-leading software algorithms and VLSI hardware that enable the display to accurately reproduce color, to minimize noise and other unwanted artifacts. When using a display in a creative or design application, the last thing you want is for the viewer to ask, is it in the display or is it in the image? If the display is not trusted, then it fails as a critical design tool. Sony's technology, like our X1 processor, ensures an image that is true to the original. A second key criteria in the collaborative viewing environment is viewing angle. It means those on the left side of the audience need to see the same exact thing as those on the right. Our crystal LED is capable of achieving a nearly 179-degree viewing angle. And this is possible because of our embedded fine LED technology. It means the LEDs are beneath the surface of the display, and the surface material the LEDs are encapsulated in act almost as a lens for our ultrafine diodes. These disperse the light while limiting the color shift and loss of brightness as the viewer moves from side to side. As I mentioned, our LEDs are ultra fine and are separated from each other. And this prevents the light from interfering with the others. So I've talked a lot about the technology that makes up Crystal LED, but I haven't mentioned too much about the specs. Specifications are, of course, important, but they're just a small piece of the puzzle. While evaluating a display, brightness, resolution, of course, they're all very useful, but unfortunately, they don't tell the whole story. Probably more than almost any other piece of technology, a display is the most difficult thing upon which we can put a number. A display is a visual experience, and a great one provides an emotional experience as well. One specification, brightness, for instance, it's important. But to give you an example, a standard household LED light bulb is between 2,000 to 3,000 nits, or 3 to 4 times as bright as this display. It's a useful number, but how does that equate to what I want to do, or the experience I want to create? Honestly, it doesn't. Resolution's important. It's a measurement of the number of pixels you have to work with. But in the end, this quantity really just represents how many dots of light within which I must work on the canvas. It doesn't tell how the light is controlled or manipulated. It really doesn't quantify things like color reproduction and intensity. It doesn't tell us how accurately I'm controlling the light output, and maybe even as importantly, how accurately I can dim it to produce a wide range of rich blacks. The key point here to all of this is don't get caught up in the numbers. A display of this size and cost is a major decision. Needs to be carefully evaluated. When going through the process, the first step is to understand the use case and the experience that you're trying to create for the audience. Is the application conveying information like signage in a bright environment? Then I need a lot of nits, but maybe not so many pixels. Or maybe I'm creating an immersive environment. Well, there I need color fidelity, resolution, and powerful pixel management. Perhaps the application involves entertainment. Then dynamic range, color accuracy, brightness control, and gamma accuracy are all vital to build the experience that the artist is trying to recreate. The key to all this is to understand that a visual image is a human experience that is made up of many factors. The experience is complex and in some ways almost impossible to capture on a spec sheet. So again, when choosing a display, it's vital to understand how the display is to be used and the type of content you wish to present. With that, the evaluation of the technology can begin. So for better or for worse, it's very difficult to make this evaluation simply looking at a spec sheet. The best case scenario is to see it, because seeing is indeed believing. And I hope today I've given you some things to think about that will allow you to drill down beyond just the speeds and feeds and take a look at the subtle parts of the technology that go into the total system. I invite you now to take a look at both of our Crystal LED displays on the other side of this wall, where we're showing our B series for high brightness and our C series, our high contrast version. I encourage you all to engage with our experts, our team of sales support engineers and product managers, so that they can answer any questions you may have and take a deeper dive beyond the numbers. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the Sony booth. Thank you. Thank you.